Lots to talk about today. Please like, share, and subscribe. So much happening to wrap up the week here. I want to get into it with all of you. Feel free to comment down below about any of this. I printed up some articles, jotted down some notes. More volatility in these markets today. They did end up in the green, but very volatile, up and down all day. But they did end in positive territory, but very, very flat. But there is something definitely going on. I believe that the markets are now beginning to realize that there are not going to be 6 or 7 rate cuts, not even close. And, just some of the news today I'm watching, many people think that there may not even be any rate cuts, and many believe that there shouldn't be really more than maybe 2 rate cuts. And many just are asking, how can the Fed cut when you look at the data that's taking place right now? They should be doing the opposite. They should be raising rates. They're not even close to 2%, and yet we have all this good news. Why would they be cutting? So let's get into some of these articles here. The first one coming from The Hedge. What the Fed accomplished. Well, they distorted the economy, they enriched the elites, and they crushed the middle class. That is 110% true, and now it's going to be time to pay the piper. Unfortunately, it won't be the top 1% paying the piper. It's going to be the middle class. It's going to be the poor that pay the piper here. Main Street has really been sacrificed by Wall Street, and the average American is going to pay a price for all of this manipulation that's taken place, for all this money printing. It says in the article that top 10% who own 90% of all assets and reap 50% of all income felt the wealth effect. Did you? Most people probably did not. Most people got the crumbs. The people got a $2,500 stimulus check. They got, they got some unemployment benefits. They got the crumbs. And then, they went out, they bought a big screen TV, they went out and bought the Dodge Charger, they went out and just, went to Vegas and gambled and, just had fun, while these people at the very top were taking money and they were going out and they were buying real estate, farms, cattle farms, ranches. They were buying, homes, they were buying hotels, they were buying gold, they were buying silver, they were buying oil, they were buying art, they were buying collectible cars, they were buying whatever they could get their hands on, whatever type of assets, while the average American was buying big screen TVs and going to Vegas. And many people are going to pay the piper. I can't even imagine how many people are up all night just thinking about what's going to happen. They have to know. They're looking at their savings accounts. They're looking at those credit card statements. They're looking at the mortgage or the rent every month. They have got to know that they're in big, big trouble at this point. There's no denying we're in big trouble. Between 2009 and 2020, the Fed crammed ZIRP, which is zero interest rate policy, down the throat of the economy, while inflation ate up 22% of the purchasing power of the US dollar. Inflation was never 0%, so the loss of capital for corporations and financiers was actually negative. All these trillions in near zero cost capital flowed into manipulation, speculation, and reduction of competition, not into boosting productivity, efficiency, or innovation. It created monopolies, it created cartels, and these people at the very, very top have absolutely destroyed the middle class and the poor. And I don't know how a lot of people are going to survive this, because they are not prepared for what is about to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, but it's happening right now. We are witnessing it happen right now. Somebody wrote me last night and said, "Oh, I've been talking about this for years, so eventually it'll happen and I'll be right." It's not about a matter of me being right or wrong. I'm going to be right, because anybody can see what's happening at this point. I started making these videos many years ago because I was very concerned at what was happening, especially after the 2008 crash, just following all the money printing, all the manipulation, and the people at the very, very top, and all of the monopolies and control that was taking place. And people, they're guilty. They took the cheap money, they went out and bought cars and houses. And now they're sitting on a massive amount of debt, and prices have gone up on their houses, and they feel okay. But what's going to happen when the prices of those houses begins to tumble, like what we're seeing in commercial real estate? It's going to be very, very big trouble. But while these wealthy people were out buying assets. The average American was out buying big screen TVs and Dodge Chargers, and they have absolutely no money saved up. And they're going to be in very, very big trouble here very, very soon. And that really concerns me. But getting back to what that person said yesterday, I've been talking about this for years, and eventually I'm going to be right. Unfortunately, I will be right, just like many of you. And I was talking about this for many, many years because the writing was on the wall. I could see it as clear as day, just like many of you. You don't need a crystal ball. You don't need to be a nuclear physicist. You don't need a business degree to see years ago what was forming. And so all I did was, wake up and make sure I was preparing. And I wanted everybody else to prepare also, because I'm very concerned about people. And I don't want to see people lose. I don't want to see people get hurt. I don't want to see people get wiped out. So you have to realize that when you look at these bubbles and you look at the massive manipulation and money printing, that you cannot prepare for this a month or 6 months or a year before it happens. This thing is so big. You need to be preparing for this for years if you're going to take advantage of the opportunities in the sales. If you're going to survive this thing and you're going to prosper, you need to have been preparing for this for years, unless you're really, really wealthy and you can do it right now. Now it's too late for millions of people because they have no savings, they have massive amounts of credit card debt, they're falling behind on the rent, the mortgages, the car payments, they may have lost a job, a spouse lost a job, and now they have nothing put away to prepare for this. And these people are in very, very big trouble. So to that individual, yes, I've been talking about this for years because you needed years to prepare for what's coming. These bubbles are enormous. They are historic. And when they burst, there's going to be a lot of people that really get hurt here. And even there's going to be wealthy people that get wiped out too. But that 1%, they're licking their chops right now for the opportunities. They're going to go in and they're going to buy developments of homes, neighborhoods of homes. They're going to buy all this stuff for pennies on the dollar, just like what happened in 2008. But this will be much, much worse, because socially where we're at now compared to 2008 is a much different place. So this is going to be a completely different environment. This is going to resemble a Mad Max scenario without a doubt. So the wealthy, that top 1%, they can't wait to buy your house. They can't wait to buy your cars, your land, your farms. They cannot wait to take advantage of the sales. The average American just wanted to go out and have a good time. And it's sad that I have to say this, but many people will write me. They see their friends still running up the credit cards, still taking the vacations, still buying the cars, and they can't afford this stuff. And they're so maxed out that one little accident, one little emergency, and it's over. And we're going to have a very big accident here very, very soon. U.S. payrolls increased by 216,000 in December, much better than expected. The estimate was 170,000. So this to me tells me at least that there will be no March rate cut. You have unemployment holding at 3.7. They thought it would be at 3.8, so better than expected. And 216,000 jobs or payrolls in 2016. So there's no way that I see the Fed cutting rates. What the Fed should be doing with this great news is they should be raising rates. Now, of course, many of these jobs are part-time, low-wage jobs. I don't believe half the data I'm seeing, but the Fed is going to go by this. The Fed is looking at this data, and they're making decisions based on this data. And there's no way, and I think the markets now are beginning to realize that there are not going to be 6 or 7 rate cuts. And there certainly is not going to be a rate cut in March. Here's where the jobs are for December 2023 in one chart. This on CNBC. Healthcare and social assistance added 58.9 thousand. The government added 52,000 jobs. Leisure and hospitality added 40,000, and then it goes, down the list. Let me ask you this: Do we need more government jobs? The government's not producing anything. It's not manufacturing. It's not innovating. And who's paying for all these government workers? Well, of course, you know the answer to that. It's you and myself. We're paying for this. Our taxes are going to continue to go up so that the government can hire more workers that we're going to pay for while they're not creating anything. And, let's face it, government workers, if you've dealt with a government agency, not the friendliest, not the most polite people, not the most outgoing people. Many of them do a horrible job because they can. They don't really have to meet any, goals. They just have to be there, put their 8 hours in or their 10 hours in or whatever it might be and get a check. So they're not really held to any accountability. Not all. Don't get me wrong. If you work for the government, you're doing a great job, God bless you. But for the most part, many of these jobs are a waste of time, a waste of money. Do we need more leisure and hospitality jobs? Do we need more people working at hotels? Do we need more people working at bars? Do we need more people working at Starbucks? I don't think so. We need real jobs, ladies and gentlemen. We need to be producing and manufacturing more. These are the type of jobs we need in America. And of course, there wasn't a whole lot of manufacturing jobs. There wasn't a whole lot of warehouse and transportation jobs added. But again, do we need this? How about healthcare and social services? Well, we have so many unhealthy people in America that we're going to continue to add more healthcare and social assistance jobs here in America. Again, these are mainly part-time, low-wage jobs, not all, but most. And we just have a really sick, physically sick country. And so there's going to be more of these jobs available, but they're not really well-paying jobs. So when I look at this list with healthcare, government, leisure, and hospitality, how in the world do we remain a superpower if we even are still a superpower? How do we remain a superpower when all we have is more people working for the government? Is everybody just going to work for the government? We'll all just work for the government and get a check. We can all work at bars and hotels, or we can just all work at a medical office and work part-time. It's really, really sad. Looking at some of the December data here, 676,000 workers left the workforce in December, 683,000 fewer people employed, 33.3 thousand lost temporary jobs, 22.6 thousand lost warehouse and transportation jobs. This was on Fox Business today, by the way. November job numbers were revised down 26,000 to 173,000. October numbers were revised down 45,000. And yes, you can bet December will be revised down also, but nobody will hear about it. Revisions from October to November show 75,000 less jobs created than reported. So, it's all manipulated. Take it for what it's worth. Most of this data is just a joke. But again, the Fed is going to use it, so don't expect as many rate cuts as you think. ISM services plunged in November. Employment crashed. It went from 52.7 to 50.6, the lowest since May. The service sector is pulling back, and this is going to be big trouble. So when we begin to, see people lose their jobs in the service sector, that's when it's really going to get bad. The Hedge today, U.S. bankruptcies jumped 18% in 2023 amid high interest rates. 445,186 bankruptcies last year in 2023. That is up from 378,000 in 2022. How many will we see this year? Probably more than we saw in 2023. So commercial filings last year, 25,627. Personal filings, 419,559. I think, according to this article, and I agree, I do believe that we're going to see a lot of retailers get absolutely creamed in 2024, and you're going to see a lot of retailers file for bankruptcy. Also, you're going to see more households filing for bankruptcy. The money has dried up. The cheap, easy money is gone. It's not coming back anytime soon, and people are now really going to be in big, big trouble. Now, I don't know if we're going to start seeing big trouble a month from now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now, but it's already begun. You've already saw the wheels begin to come off the car here in 2023, and things are now going to just accelerate into 2024. Think about what's happening around the world right now, just in the first week of 2024. The volatility in these markets, oil prices up, gold holding. It's incredible what is going on. The disruption in the Middle East. It's really amazing what is taking place. Reuters, wages rise solidly, but real inflation is rising faster, ladies and gentlemen. Tracy Schuchart, Hilltower Resource Advisors CEO, I was watching her on Fox Business this morning. She said, we need to address the Red Sea issues. Tanker rates are up 173%. Plus, we have delays in the Panama Canal because of drought, and this is going to add up to more inflation in the U.S. economy. Also, oil prices rising. Again, the disruption in the Middle East and oil prices going up. This is going to add to inflation. I don't see how in the world the Fed is going to get inflation to 2% by cutting rates when we are looking at prices of literally everything continuing to go up. Tanker rates or cargo rates up 173%. That is a lot, and that is going to get priced onto you. So the delays with these cargo ships, oil prices going up, food prices continue to go up. I don't see how they're going to get to 2% by cutting rates. Here's one from Axios. Gas prices, national gas price now $3 a gallon. Yet the last couple of days we see oil prices rising. Our strategic petroleum reserves have been exhausted. That really added to pushing the price of gasoline down. But you go back to 2019, I think the U.S. national average was about $2.25. So we're still paying more. And if you think gas prices are going to stay at $3 a gallon, I think you're sadly mistaken. Here's one today. Americans living in their cars are finding refuge in safe parking lots. I saw this a few days ago when we drove through Moreno Valley. And I know that they have these down in San Diego, and they are popping up all over Southern California, these parking lots that are gated off. Some of them have security guards. They have little bathrooms. They have sinks, so people can clean themselves, use the bathroom facilities. Certain hours that you can enter and certain hours you can leave. They close a lot of these areas down like 9 o'clock at night. People have vehicles, and the sad thing is, and I've watched some other YouTube videos on this over the years, but this is becoming very, very popular because a lot of the homeless shelters are packed. They cannot take in any more people. So you're seeing areas now of these, vacant parking lots that are chained off where people can park their cars, be safe at night while they sleep in their cars, and then they drive to work the next day. I mean, think about, we have people going to work, driving a vehicle, who are sleeping in parking lots in this country. Absolutely unacceptable that people have to sleep in their cars and then drive to work and they're sleeping in a parking lot. But at least they have something. But I've seen these with my own two eyes. They're becoming more popular here. Church parking lots also. But have you seen this? This is really, really sad. As we continue to send money all over the world, we got people that aren't lazy, people that are going to work in the morning, that park their cars and sleep in a parking lot. It's unbelievable. Could you imagine 20 years ago talking about people sleeping in parking lots with porta potties and portable sinks and driving to work? Unacceptable. But the rents have gotten so out of control, and the cost of everything just to feed yourself, gasoline, car insurance, it's gotten out of control, and it's forcing more and more good people to have to sleep in their cars. It's unacceptable. So another article I want to share with everybody is titled "Latest Stanley Cup Release Flying Off Shelves in Target Stores Across the Country." Now, I was watching some of these videos today, and it's almost embarrassing. You're looking at these adults running through a Target store to buy something that looks like a Yeti tumbler in Valentine's red, and I guess the Stanley brand is 100 years old. And so you're watching this FOMO where people are limited to 2 of these tumblers, and people are literally falling over one another to buy these things. And many of these adults were women, many wearing yoga pants. And not to sit here and criticize or be judgmental, but many of these people probably should not be wearing yoga pants. I'll leave it at that. But it's almost embarrassing to watch how these people are dressed, how these adults act in public, the FOMO that they have to have these red Valentine's tumblers from Target, limit 2. We're in big trouble. We're really in big trouble. I'm going to leave it at that. But the FOMO continues. How embarrassing! Could you imagine, if your wife or mom or somebody an adult, just running through a store for some tumblers, when you see what's happening? And of course, most of these people used a credit card. I'm sure most of these people are probably broke, but they had to get their 2 Valentine's red Stanley Cup tumblers. I wish people would take this kind of time and energy and use it to prepare. Yahoo Finance, AMC stock closes at all-time low, $5.17 a share. Let's go back to June 2nd. I looked this up today. June 2nd of 2021. It was $551.38. Goodbye, Hollywood. You're going to see a lot more vacant theaters, and I could really care less. I think many people are really getting sick of Hollywood. I think they're so sick of Hollywood. I don't even know who any of these actors are now. I don't know any movies that are out. I could really care less. I hope these movie theaters close down. I hope Hollywood gets destroyed and brought to its knees. What they're producing and how they've really just slapped the American people in the face with the garbage and just the garbage that they sell America, and just the morality in these movies. It's disgusting. And there's just no class or real culture to these movies. There's no real writing. It's special effects. It's just garbage on an assembly line, and they just pump it out to you and hope that you buy this garbage. And I think people are really getting sick and tired of the garbage. They want to see something of quality. If there's a really great movie out there that has some real quality to it, I think people are willing to see it and pay for it. But I think they're burned out on all these movies with all these crazy special effects, all of the swearing, all of the immorality. I think people just they're sick of it, and there's just other options now. And so I think that we're going to see more problems with a lot of these theaters, a lot of these movie production companies. I don't know how a lot of these actors are even making money or paying the bills on their mansions in Beverly Hills now, because they're just not working that much. So again, I could care less about Hollywood. I don't give them a dime or any of my time, because they will just use my money against me, and they're just going to corrupt your mind. So if Hollywood wants to make some good quality movies with a message, then hey, maybe we'll use some of our money and time and go see a good quality movie. But I'm not going to waste my time or money, and I guess a lot of people aren't either. And if you're supporting a lot of these organizations in sports who have sold you out many, many years ago, I would really think about, if you really are walking the walk, if you really believe in what's going on, if you really believe in the spiritual warfare, why would you give these people 1 cent of your money? I mean, baseball, basketball, football, they've all sold you out. They showed you years ago where they stand, what they believe in. They told you what they think of you. Yet people will tell us, oh, they're so awake, and they're so moral, and they're walking the walk. Yet they're buying tickets and supporting these organizations. So look, I don't hate anybody that does that, but I think we should all wake up and know where our money's going and where we're spending our time and our resources. Costco gold sales rise 10% in December. They sold $100 million in gold bars in December. So AMC's at $5, gold's $2,050. So a lot of people told me I should have been buying AMC stock and not gold, but gold's doing okay. Nothing has happened yet. Nothing has broken apart yet, and gold over $2,000 an ounce. Southern California jolted by magnitude 4.2 earthquake. This happened in Rancho Cucamonga a few hours ago, about an hour from my house. So this is now the second earthquake. We saw a 7.6 in Japan. We've had 2 earthquakes. The first one a couple days ago was a 4.1. Now we just had a 4.2. So here we are in 2024, and things are really beginning to happen. So we've got earthquakes, we've got wars, we've got volatility on the markets, we've got gold holding over 2,000, we've got people sleeping in their cars. We've got a lot of things happening, and we really need to be paying attention. We don't need to be paying attention to baseball games and football games. We need to be paying attention to what is happening in the real world right now. This is the biggest game in the universe. If somebody scores a touchdown or hits a home run, it doesn't change my life whatsoever. This game right here, we're all in it, and it's going to affect every one of us. Whether you're in this game or not, you're going to be affected. But if you're going to ignore this game, if you're going to ignore what's happening, you are going to pay a very, very severe price, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let this happen to you or your family. Be prepared for what is coming. God bless. Pray for America. Be walking close to God. And as always, I look forward to speaking with all of you very, very soon. Please like, share, and subscribe. God bless.